Hi, welcome to this month's Learning with Loden. The topic this month is one that really hits home with the schools, and I believe with you personally, but we're talking about cybersecurity. And in our district, we have over 6,400 students. We have over 600 teachers alone, and when you put all our employees together, we have almost 7,400 people. And when you look at the number of devices that we have well over 7,000 devices in our district. And then along with that, we have all kinds of software. We have a budget of over $80 million, and we have financial software and all kinds of different protocols to keep our employees and our children safe, and you safe, or your child safe. And hopefully today, with the update that you'll enjoy it. David Liss, our tech director, is coming back to us this month, and is going to do an overview of what are we doing behind the scenes to keep the data, your child's data, our financial data, all the employee data safe and secure. And with the world that we live in today, we know that's very important, because it seems like every week you're reading or listening to the news and hearing about hackers and banks and businesses are being hacked across the nation. And we're doing lots of little things behind the scenes to help keep your child's data and our data safe. Thank you, and enjoy this month's program.
We're excited to have our Executive Director of Technology and Strategic Planning here, David Liss. Dave, thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to have you. And today we're going to talk about cybersecurity. Yay! I was like, well, and I think just to start off with, we hear a lot about things online or whatever else, but just give us like a brief overview. What is cybersecurity in general?
Cybersecurity is the ability to ward off attacks. And when I think about it, really in our society today, the biggest commodity right now is data. And data is almost assuredly electronic at this point. And so it's criminals. When we think of security, we're just thinking more about the criminals, and we're trying to keep our data safe away from the criminals that are out there. And those kinds of attacks, when we have to try to ward those off or protect ourselves against this, that's what we consider cybersecurity.
So anything from people getting their credit card number stolen, in the Target thing that we've heard about in the past, all the way to Social Security number or just passwords or anything that all falls under cybersecurity. So why are schools one of the biggest targets? People may not know this, but schools are like one of the biggest targets for cybersecurity breaches and hacks. Why is that?
Yeah, it's interesting, Zach, because within the last 2 years, educational institutions became the #1 target of hackers. And it's in K-12 even more so than anyone else. And the reason is because A, we have an abundance of data, but B, we have an abundance of data of kids under the age of 18. And really, a lot of the cyber attackers are after individuals' information in the kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade realm, because it can go so long undetected. They can steal those Social Security numbers, they can put together other information and go out and start utilizing those and stealing that identity, and the identity isn't even known that it's stolen for many, many, many years, which means they're long gone.
Yeah, and you don't notice it until maybe they're applying for a college loan or a bank account or anything along those lines. So 13, 14 years can go by, and there's all this back data that then the family have to work through to get where they need to go.
Exactly.
So what are we doing as a school district in order to help prevent these attacks? And I know we can't talk about everything, but in general, what are we doing to be prepared in case somebody tries to attack the school district?
Right, and never do you want to give away your security profile, because that's giving keys to the kingdom pretty much. Right. But what we are doing is we have partnered with security organizations that we have systems in place, hardware and software, that prevent us from those main attacks, those attacks from hackers outside trying to infiltrate our network. We have definitely firewalls, and we have all of these other systems in place. But here's the thing, Zach, 95% of breaches
I know where you're going.
are caused by human error. And so while we can have this great perimeter set up, and we do, the thing is that 77%, I just read this the other day, 77% of educational institutions do not have the wherewithal, either in the knowledge or the money, to protect themselves. And that becomes another reason why that becomes hacker's paradise, is because those walls are not up. As NICSA, we do have some strong walls up. I'm not going to say that we can't be hacked, because that would be irresponsible to even say that.
The federal government got hacked, so we might also have a problem.
But in that, because of those staggering numbers and being that target, we have to do everything we can do to leverage ourselves. And if that leverage is that 95% factor, then we have to make sure that our people understand what not to do so that we don't give away keys to the kingdom. So cybersecurity awareness is the biggest thing, or I should say security awareness is the biggest thing. And so we have partnered with a company where we do cybersecurity awareness training all the way down. Well, we do it with our kids through classes and everything, but with our staff and our faculty and our subs, we have cybersecurity training that they go through so they understand the different types of things that are the vulnerabilities that present themselves to us so that we don't fall to those things for the most part. Keep them aware of the newest things that are out. So, and always seems to be the newest thing. Whatever is the big deal going on in our society, people are going to exploit that and try to infiltrate based on that. So a lot of that is phishing through email. Some terms I'll give you real quick, but phishing would be one through email. PH, yes. And that's through email. There's also smishing, if you don't know what that is. And you probably get this, but it's based on SMS text messaging.
I've gotten a lot of those here lately. Like, you need to click on this link.
Right, click on this link. And they always use urgency. Urgency is a big thing. We may talk about preventive here in a minute if we want to, but smishing is one. And then vishing. And vishing, anytime you add a V to anything, everybody thinks it's video, but this is actually voice. Okay. And that is when people actually call you. And you get those calls from random places that you don't know, and you need to pay this right now, or you're going to be arrested. Can you just give me this information? Can you take time to do a survey? All of those types of things. You just don't know if that is an attack or a ploy to get information, which gets into a whole other thing that's called social engineering.
Yeah. And I know a lot of times we get these calls all the time, but we don't think that what they're actually trying to do. We think it's annoying, those robocalls or whatever. And so, but they're really trying to find a weak spot in order to get someone's data that they can use that to get their credit card information or whatever else. I've had that happen to me where I'll get the alerts and that somebody's trying to sign into your account, and so that's where you need like that two-factor authentication on all your emails and as much stuff as possible. And I know we're doing that same thing for the school district, just to add that extra layer to make it difficult, because I think you've told us before, they're going for the easiest pathway, which is why they go for schools, because there's the least security there. So the more security things you have, like walls up, personally and as a school district, the better it's going to be.
Layering is absolutely the best thing. I mean, everything from, we put on from a hardware perspective or software perspective, but thinking of the computers, I mean, we've got virus protection, we've got malware protection, and then on that, then we use strong passwords, and then we make sure that the users know to stay away from that. So you've already got 4 layers just there, and that doesn't include that our base layer of trying to protect our perimeter. So layering is the best way, because things are going to get through. We just don't want them to get all the way through.
And I know you talked about preventative measures, or you mentioned that. So, like, what are we doing, kind of as an idea of even preventing these things from happening to begin with?
Yeah, that's a good point too. And one of the things that it comes back to that 95%, educating people on what to do. But when you get that text, I don't care if it's the vishing, the smishing, or the phishing. But if you feel uncomfortable with it, go with your natural instinct, because if you don't feel comfortable and the hairs on the back of your neck just raise a little bit, follow that instinct. It is better to give in to that than it is to follow through and think, oh, well, something's probably not going to happen. Well, the thing is we know 9 times out of 10 it's not going to happen. Maybe 99 times out of 100 it's not going to happen. But it really only takes that one. And so we do have things in place with the cybersecurity awareness. We personally have a system by which any employee can fish hook. It's a fish hook.
It's a fish hook, yeah.
And so they can fish hook and report a suspicious email. And then we also try to keep people aware of not giving out personally identifiable information. Now, this is going to sound crazy,
okay.
but when I say personally identifiable information, I mean personally identifiable information. We think of that as social security numbers, address, date of birth. We think of all of those types of things. Zach, I'm going to go as far as to say, don't tell me what your favorite color is.
Or don't answer that question on Facebook when they say, what was your first car?
I thank you for bringing that up, and I hope that you don't mind me taking a few seconds if we talk about that. But that is one of the most benign seeming things. But when you fill out that little thing that your friend says, hey, I'm just passing this along, let's talk about the 10 things about you, and what's your favorite color, and what was your dog's first name, and what was... And we look at it and we go, that seems awful familiar to the same questions that are asked for my security verification, right? And so if people can go out there and they can know the things about you, then they go to your account, and then when it asks, they go, I'm going to do a password reset. Well, answer these security questions about you. What's your favorite color? What was your dog's first name? Well, they just had to go to Facebook to find that out. Another thing that I would say from a preventive maintenance is please, 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 I'm going to employ to you, do not use the same passwords for multiple sites. And the thing is all it takes is that password to get used once. So many people do it because they don't want to remember complex passwords. And when they do that, if they hack one account, then they can hack them all. And so something, if I don't know if a lot of people are starting to see, but they don't know what it's called, is two-factor authentication. And that two-factor authentication is kind of like I'm trying to get into my Yahoo Mail, and when I try to get into my Yahoo Mail, it sends a text message to my phone, and then I have to put this code in. Well, that seems irritating, but it's protecting your identity.
Well, and it takes that one time when you wish you would have had that because they did get your password, they were able to reset it. I've had my password reset on my account and before, and they got my credit card and they ran with it, and now I have an extra layer of protection because I had the two-factor authentication and everything, but they got one of the answers to my secret questions. They figured it out. And so then they were able to get through and reset everything. And so it takes that one time to really make you aware of what's going on.
Let's put two things together here really quick, because I want to put together the two things you just talked about, plus how hackers try to get in. And that is the fact that you will get an SMS message or you'll get an email that will say your account has been hacked. Please click this link to whatever. Don't click the link.
Don't click it.
And what you do is, if it says your Amazon account has been hacked, blah, 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 then what you need to do is go to the source. You need to go to your Amazon account, log in, check your orders to see if anything's been done. If you feel weird about it, then go ahead and change your password then, and that way it protects your account. But don't ever click on links, especially when they're creating urgency in what you want to do.
Well, and there's phone numbers on the back of your credit card, call your bank, any of those if you work at a business or an organization, or even for parents, if your kid gets an email or staff members, if they get an email, they just need to call our tech department and we'll let you know whether it's legit. Like most places actually appreciate you calling and say, I got an email from you, was this real? And they appreciate that because they have to then, there's a lot of insurance issues and reimbursements for different stuff, so it actually helps them not lose money as well. So everybody, if we all do it together, we can help kind of fend these off.
And make sure that you call or contact them on known contact. Don't just use
the number they give you in the text message.
The email or the number that they give you in the text message or the email. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, David, we really want to thank you so much for giving us just a highlight this month of kind of what cybersecurity is all about. And parents and students and staff, if you have questions, reach out to our tech department. They're here to help you out in any way, shape, or form with any questions that you have, because we're all in this together. Like you said, it's 95% of it's all human error, so we're the problem. And so if we have any issues or whatever, reach out and we'll be glad to give you any information you need. So tune in next time for another edition of Learning with Loden.